Well, all right, folks. Here we go. So now we're going to incorporate our slipping, our dips, and our weaves, and we're going to emphasize kicking through that and stuff, right? Because our last two videos on the topic involved a lot of punching, or all punching, I'm pretty sure, stuff, right? So since you did so much punching and stuff, I want you to do a quick warm-up, even though you're massively warmed up right now. So raise those knees, do whatever you do for your leg warm-ups, get those legs back up and going and get them ready and stuff, right? Not just these kinds, but make sure that you're ready also for your groin and stuff, whatever you do to warm up, right? And for now, we're going to focus on the front kick, the front kicks, and the roundhouse kicks, and we may do some side kicks, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we get to them. But it's not a problem, because you should already be comfortable and realizing that for any of these drills at any given moment, for most of them, you can just swap out one kick for another, and you could just swap out one kind of punch for another punch as well. Okay. Right. So when we're doing front kick drills, when we're slipping punches and weaving, when we're dipping and weaving and doing front kick stuff, we can do the dipping and weaving and do roundhouse stuff, and we can do dipping and weaving and do side kick stuff. And I'm really feeling at this point, if you're following some of these your fight training stuff, we're really close to getting ready to learn a couple of new kicks. Okay, so you should start to get comfortable with this, and I'll probably do some details on kicks now. I'll do some extra little detail on it, but we're going to incorporate maybe the hook kick, maybe the crescent kick, a couple of other ones like that. Okay, so let's keep it ultra simple, and remember, on our first drills that we're doing here, I want you to be using your lead. Why? Because that's involving a little bit more momentum and body movement in your stuff. So that's the great way to start your drills. All right. So yeah. So here we go. So what we're doing is it's not as easy as you think in a way. Okay. But keep that idea of that your center plane. All right, and you're rotating around it, and you're weaving, and then you're throwing a rear front kick. But the important thing is, when you weave, I don't want you to have a new center line. I don't want you to strike a new area, target in a new area. For this type of drill, I want you to still strike on that original line. The point is, I want you to get an idea that you have rotated, okay, to a different angle of relative to that target, and then I want you to strike that target, because that's a benefit of weaving and combining the weave as a form of a sidestep, which it is a type of form of a sidestep, in the sense that you're getting out of the way of an attack, or you're changing your position. So you're sidestepping, you're weaving, stepping. Cool, and I'm keeping it nice and simple. Who knows what percentage I am, but not throwing very hard. So remember, what we were doing before was we were throwing the front kick and then coming back. Okay, now we're playing with or keeping it a little bit more simple. We throw the kick first, come down, and then move it back to change position. All right, so what's next? What's next? I'm figuring it out. Let's see. What are we going to do? Maybe a 1-2, maybe a hook, maybe I'm in an uppercut. Have you done any uppercuts yet? All right, so we're involving the weave and some dipping. Jab, weave, rear front kick, slip, slip. Once you get into this habit, you will greatly increase your ability. You will definitely have leveled up. Once you get into the habit, at any given moment, before, during, and after anything you do, of having some kind of head movement, some kind of body movement, so that you're not a predictable target or a stationary target, okay, you'll have leveled up. Woohoo! Sometimes it's not as easy as you think and stuff. You know, sometimes we just, some people, they don't have, it's not so easy to do all that movement and stuff. It doesn't increase their rhythm, it sort of takes them out of rhythm, okay? But with training and stuff, it will, at a certain point, you'll cross a threshold, and then it definitely will increase your rhythm and add to your rhythm. It will get you in a flow. All right, you saw that, you saw that? All right, so let me show you what we're doing. So what's happening here is, all right, good drill. We're going to dip out of the way. Then we're going to throw a lead punch on the rise back, okay, or after you completely rise back. Then we're dipping in the other on our other side, and we're throwing the lead again, okay? Then we're weaving, right? And we're throwing an instant front kick and a rear front kick. Generally, if you want to get really nice and complicated, or you want to look ahead, okay, your instant kick is hitting your opponent when they're closer to you, okay, and now as they're backing away because they don't want to get hit by that instant, you follow up with the rear one, which is definitely like a thrusting front kick, and so to get them at a longer distance and stuff like that. Dip, lead, weave, instant rear. Got it? On your way back to resetting your spot, okay, you could do a few more dips, weaves, or whatever. You know, jabbing also keeps you kind of safe. It doesn't allow your opponent to run up on you when you're trying to regain a rhythm or composure or anything, or changing a position. The jab also kind of operates as a way for your opponent not to be able to completely predict you and take advantage of any kind of prediction. All right? So we're not gonna quickly change, because I want you to really grasp this concept. I want you to really grasp this drill. All right? So dip. Here I'm in the right front stance. Dip to the left. Dip to the right. Weave. Instant. Rear. Once you get the hang of this, you could play with all kinds of versions of it. You alternate. If you're throwing the left jab and you dip to the left, throw the left jab, dip to the right. Then alternate. Throw the left jab, dip to the right, throw the left jab, dip to the left. You could weave going toward your left, you could weave going toward your right. You may feel awkward. You may have a natural tendency to go in one direction better than the other, ergonomically with your body, and also maybe just your preference, your body's preference. But practice both. See what you have to do so that the side that doesn't feel as fluid, what you have to do so that it can feel fluid. Here, I'm going over what I mentioned a little bit earlier, okay? Generally speaking, not all the time, but generally speaking, the instant one is just like the name says. It's that instant kick. Surprise your opponent, a little bit closer distance, right? And the rear one could actually, even though it's not forward one, can cover a little bit more distance because it's getting that momentum, a little bit more motion that's more connected or involved with the thrusting. Okay, and there's also ways to advance with the rear. Okay, you could advance with the instant as well if you wanted to thrust that instant. You certainly can thrust the instant generally, or if you wanted to, but you could also advance the instant as well. But you're going to have to do sort of like a leaping or a skip or a shuffle forward when you do it, and that is a technique and move as well. Quick little reminder of classic defense, your elbow defenses and stuff. All right, so when you're doing all of these little defensive things on your way back to resetting your position and stuff like that, you're doing those as well. Your elbow guards your kidneys and your liver and your ribs and things like that. All right, and also your stomach, and you move it forward. Bring them together. All right, back to our classics. What are we doing here? What are we doing? All right. We're doing the same type of drill, but just reminding us, don't make sure to catch yourself that you're not doing all of your drills punching to the head. Okay, punch to the midsection and also to the gut, and then do combinations of punching low and high. All right, just showing you different angles, right? And these are the low ones. That's another thing you can do. Instant front kick on this drill, instant front kick on one angle or one plane, but also imagine your opponent did move. So when you're throwing that rear kick is not going to the same, see? That rear kick is not going to the same angle target that the instant did. Change it. Follow your opponent a little bit. Enough so that there's a certain range where you can, okay, just throw the kick on that angle to meet your opponent. You don't need to actually rotate your body to adjust to your opponent's new position. There's a certain range where you can. And then obviously, or in certain cases, there may be a certain point after that when you will have to do a little bit more rotating or an adjustment of your position. What's our next drill here, folks? What are we doing here? All right. Jab. Weave. Is that an uppercut? Am I doing the uppercut on the weave? That's a little bit more. Yeah. I don't think we're going to stick with that one now. We'll do that a little bit later. You could try it out, but you'll see how that's a little bit, I want to work on that a little bit later. Because that's a little bit more difficult to do. You'll feel it. Okay, if you're going to weave an uppercut out of the weave, that's a little harder. So for now, I want us to focus on the body movement and stuff. I don't want us to already jump to fighting that movement and learning exceptions and counter, balances that are counterintuitive or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I do want to keep to the basics right now. Right? And this is a great basic. All right, so check that out. So you jab, weave, hook, walking out of the weave like we've done before, all right? But let's get out of the front kick and let's do that roundhouse kick. So you should see that whole motion and stuff, all right? When you're throwing that hook, all right, just like throwing the haymaker, just like throwing the rear punch, the point here is I want us to throw the rear kick from the motion of the punch, with the motion of the punch. Now, if we're going to throw that roundhouse kick to our opponent's face, all right, we might want to give ourselves a little bit extra chance of being successful by getting our opponent to drop the guard. So, jab high, okay, cross low, kick high, right? Not rocket science, pretty simple, all right? Jab high gets our opponent on guard, okay? Cross low, they're like, oh no, hell no. They're like, we got you. Well, okay, we got you. You think you're going to surprise us with the jab, but we're really in tune. So they block that low cross to the gut. And when they're blocking that low cross to the gut, that roundhouse kick follows the cross. Natural motion, just like a 1-2, high. Here, okay, don't have to get ahead of ourselves for now, so let's just practice simple. Each one has its own dedicated, okay? So here it's a little bit less of riding the roundhouse kick with the motion of our body, but first, okay, I don't want us to learn bad habits and stuff. So first thing is to get the whole process, get the whole idea down, okay? And what's that idea? And that idea is we're throwing a jab, and then we're doing that type of weave, and we're doing the cross out of that weave, see? And then we're throwing the roundhouse kick with that. So don't think that you have to do them all at once. You could do them one at a time. And then you could start playing with doing them a little bit one after the other in some kind of succession, or just playing with all different kinds of intervals of them. You can do, you know, like we do, like a 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1. Stuff like that, right? Pretty cool, right? And the great thing about this type of drill is the fact that you're riding or you're flowing with your motion is going to increase the chances of you doing it properly and not developing bad habits, especially because I'm not there to see what you're doing. And that's a big negative in these times. But a lot of people are understanding that during these COVID crazy times and stuff, we're going to do more learning online than ever. So it's really cool that you guys can join me in this process. Those who are just having a good time, okay, following this type of thing, watching and being inspired. When you watch a mastery of anything, it inspires you to be great at another thing. And for those who are actually incorporating this as an exercise and just movement to unlock their body, or those who are actually utilizing it in a combat, self-defense, hardcore, you know, format. Fakes, right? Fakes. I think I'll do a different video on that, but here I'm exaggerating. Remember what we did, like with the haymaker, all right? Always a great drill. Whatever punch you're doing, you're really driving with, okay? Follow that up with a kick that's also riding the coattails of that punch. A little bit more complicated, folks, okay? A little bit more. We get a little bit ahead of ourselves and stuff. but a fantastic one, giving you jewels right here, right? On the weave back, the instant comes out. Because you finished the punch, all right? The weave back is defense for the counter or for opponent who's avoided or is waiting or is trying to time you. Now here I'm reminding you, okay, on the retreat back, right? Your whole face is wide open during that whole time, so you're going to want to make sure that you're going to have some kind of guard on that. Even when you're weaving, you want to make sure that your hands, because that whole side is open for a while. All right? But it's fantastic. So you throw your punch. It didn't do much. It missed, even if it landed. But you're in such a position, you didn't follow it up with anything else. All right? But it was a big punch. You took it a shot. Haymaker. You got to get out of there. You got to recuperate. You got to get back to a good position and stuff. So you weave back to that position. Your guards type up. All right? Your opponent decides to advance on you when you're doing that. Right? And as they do, you're meeting them with that instant kick. Like I said before, don't worry, we're going to touch on all these drills again, but you can interchange the kick. So when you threw your power shot and then you retreat, you weave out of it, you can do the instant front kick. You can do an instant side kick. Here, we're doing the roundhouse kick. You don't have to do it as fast as me. You could go slow. Start out low. Throw all your kicks low. Throw them really low if you want. All right, everyone. Love you very much, and have fun training.